Have you ever wondered why you're up one day and down the next?
Do you ever have trouble finding a cab?
Hildy, the hack dispatcher, moves a fleet of them.
Have you ever needed a doctor in the middle of the night?
There's an experiment in the South Bronx that may interest you. Counting on your fingers may be okay.
Not when I was a kid.
Live and clucking from Mount Vernon, a chicken market for you.
You profiles the people you want to meet. You takes you behind the scenes of the events that change your life. You helps you cope with the trends that change your life. You, a program about the people, the places, the things that interest you, the people of the tri-state area.
Hi, I'm Anne Meara.
And I'm Jerry Stiller.
And we're New Yorkers.
We have the parking tickets to prove it.
Anyway, we are particularly proud to be hosts of the premiere of You.
I love this roof.
That's why we wouldn't live anywhere else but New York City.
You know, some of the great love stories in New York and New Jersey took place on a roof.
Hey, is that an invitation?
Marlon Brando and Eva Marie Saint.
Wrong. Marlon Brando was on the roof with pigeons.
We couldn't afford a roof.
Jerry, don't get maudlin.
We had a fire escape.
There's 8 million stories in the naked city. Will you listen to him? I know what it is. It's your biorhythms.
My what?
Yeah. According to your biorhythm chart, your emotional cycle is descending.
I'm a Gemini with Aries ascending.
No, biorhythms is not astrology. It is a theory that you're guided through life with like an internal biological clock.
A biological clock?
Yeah, now see, the clock has cycles. You see these lines?
Yeah.
They're fixed from the moment of your birth, and they affect how you act.
It says here that right now I'm in my emotional cycle is critical.
Right.
Does that mean this is my day to be a schlemiel?
No, honey. You see what it means is, it means your intellectual cycle is in a positive phase. That takes care of the emotional cycle. In other words, you're going to learn all you'll need to cope with your emotional cycle.
Is there an expert who can clue us in on all this?
I'm glad you asked me. There is. His name is Bernard Gittleson.
Gittleson.
He's going to tell us what it's all about.
Biorhythm was first discovered in 1890 by Dr. Svoboda and by Telcher and by Dr. William Fleiss. And they found that there was a very definite correlation between the biorhythmic days, or a 23-day physical cycle, and a 28-day emotional cycle, and a 33 intellectual cycle, which seemed to account for the ups and downs in our lives. I can, within 12 seconds, do a biorhythm chart by just knowing your birthday and looking up a code, rather than the old complications of long tables and long division and so on, which takes a great deal of time. Because I've done hundreds of charts of suicides, where many of them have occurred, in fact, some 85% of suicides occur on a critical or very, very low day. Here is Marilyn Monroe on a critical day. President Ford, during the debate, when he said that Russia does not control the East European countries. He was intellectually low and he was emotionally low. And it took him a long time to get off that. Now, President Carter, when he gave the Playboy magazine, was emotionally low. He also happened to be physically low. This was a down day for him. And I don't think that, in retrospect, that he would have wanted to use words like shack up. Not that he shouldn't have given the interview, but the kind of words that he used that people objected to for a president to be. Now, of course, if we go back, in many instances, this is just one shot of President Nixon, the night that he fired Cox. He was intellectually and emotionally as low as he could be.
So what do you think, Jerry?
I guess I'm a born skeptic. It could be coincidence.
Coincidence once, maybe. But coincidence 5, 6 times makes you wonder.
I wonder if you can tell when the good days are coming.
Hey, taxi! Hey, taxi! WABC.
Cab.
Yoo-hoo!
Yoo-hoo.
We are lucky.
I know we're lucky. There we are.
Hi. We're going to go to ABC, right?
Right. All right.
Thank you. We just take off now.
Is that a woman dispatcher?
What difference? It doesn't matter if it's a woman. Listen, we're very lucky to get a cab this time of day. Anyway, I happen to know she is very reliable, and her name is Hildy.
What was that address again? 175?
173 Columbia Heights, Clark and Pierpont. It's for C.P. Young. The name is Mr. Schwartz. You're going to 75 Varick.
Who's calling in?
No, the other one. 199. Is everything 5 square now? The phone rings and the operator picks up and she says, "Hello, dial cab," or "Good evening, dial cab." And she takes all the information and she puts it in the belt and we dispatch it and then we give it to the girl sitting in the middle and she gives the card numbers out. And basically that's the whole system if we have cars. They're really good inside. The operators are great. They're really super people. They know just what they're doing, and we help each other. If I have a problem with reading a handwriting, I know the handwriting, so all I have to do is ask them.
I gave it back to you. I said I gave it out.
35 volunteers downtown.
Call 45.
144 Manhattan to Brooklyn. Mike, 144 Manhattan to Brooklyn. Mo? 193 and 134. 193.
Yes, Mr. Banda from Grace 42nd and 6 in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Affirmative, 10-4.
This lady got a talent, and she like what she's doing. And she do the job really good, really good. She enjoy it. She like to help people, and that's what makes the big difference between the other lady and her.
They don't like the fact that I'm sitting there because I'm a female, or for one reason or another. I take it that way. Because that's, I don't know, I just take it that way. But others enjoy it because it's a nicer voice, a sweeter sounding voice. I'm not hard on the ears. 6'3".
Young lady from Sherman Sterling, that German, she wants to apologize to the operator for being nasty.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. I'll tell them. Thank you. 9-5. Whoever from Sherman and Sterling was nasty, they apologize.
She's a co-worker. She's a very pleasant girl to work with. She's always polite, and she does work very hard. She go to college, and she work is a part-time, and she pick up that business very well.
Take the 10-6s, take the people where they want to go also. You're going to the east side. So you make a stop in the post office. I'm sure the people will understand. Just, you know how to work it.
I tell you other thing, she done really been working very long time, like some taxi drivers. Some taxi drivers, they've been driving cabs for 6, 8, 10, 12 years. And she been dispatching for dial for a short time, and she learned her ups and downs. She learned that to weigh very fast.
Oh, I work 4 to 12, 5 days a week, and I have Saturdays and Sundays off. And I do my schoolwork on Saturday. I go out, I play ball, I play paddle ball or something like that I enjoy. And basically, I'm home most of the time because I have a lot of work for school to do. But after that, I hope I can get a job with the federal government, in a police station or something with children. Juvenile delinquency, drug abuse, the youth crimes, that I enjoy. I took courses in school about that, and I really enjoy that.
All right, I'm at 4, 4, and 6. Give me about 5 or 6 minutes.
I'm 44 and 6. You have Mo. You're going to the village.
What's the guy's name again?
You have Mo.
Okay, I got it, thanks.
10-4.
I worked for a woman dispatcher a couple of years ago when I was with a different radio group. And this woman was, she was a pretty tough gal. She had her days on and days off, and She was pretty rough on the drivers. But Hildy, on the other hand, is she's pretty good. She's a pretty calm girl, and she can take the pressure. And every day is good. Every day is not bad. Every day is good. Usually she's tough. Good kid. She's a good kid, really.
Oh, when they give me a rough time, not usually. I had one today, but I just either don't answer them or just say okay and slam the desk and do what I have to do and carry on in here. And I don't let them know usually because it's not fair to them because they're working and I'm working and I try to make it as easy as possible for them.
Hi, I'm Torre. I am a New Yorker, and like you, I am tired of coping. I am tired of the problems and frustrations that are never ending in the normal course of working and living in this otherwise great city. I am tired of the experts, authorities, and institutions that rob our time and money. Tired of the abuse and exploitation of being pushed around in a society that has become highly pressurized, computerized, and agonizingly impersonal. It is the hope of this program to discourage some of these questionable practices through a weekly segment called Fighting Back. If anything smacks of a moral, ethical, or economical wrong, we'll focus on it. And it is hoped that you'll contribute to this platform by relating some of your own thoughts on what needs to be corrected for the improvement of life in New York City. To give you an idea of what we'll be tackling, we'll focus on greedy sales practices that break no laws but breach ethics. The New York Telephone Company, which threatens us all the time with final disconnect notices. Friendly banks, which impose rules that would strain any friendship. Movie theater managements, which tend to treat us as cattle instead of customers. And just above me is a chronic source of public confusion, the parking signs. Read them and you really have to think hard. Can I or can't I park here? Could you figure out whether or not you can park here?
Yes, I could.
You could park?
Well, no, you can't park here. It's no parking 8 to 6, but I can see where people would get confused by that 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, and yeah, it is confusing.
The only thing that seems that's clear to me is the except Sunday.
Wait a minute. The one on top says you can't be here Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, and the one below it says you can be here from 6 to 10 for a half hour. So you couldn't park here during the day, you can park here during the evening, only for a half hour at a time. And from 9 to 10 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. For a half hour. So one would generally get the impression they don't want people here during the day.
But I'll tell you, if I was driving by and wanted to park, I would have to stop traffic to figure out these damn signs.
Yeah, you gotta take a minute and read it, yeah.
In the case of New York City's parking signs, the confusion is real. 2, 3, and sometimes 4 signs on a post, richly endowed with such negatives as accept, only, no, tow away zone, seem at first glance to contradict one another. If I can't park here, what are these other cars doing here? Do the motorists know something I don't? Why do I keep looking back after parking, as if expecting to see something that will confirm whether or not to park? What you're about to see was not staged. It actually happened this way. The sign over there, have you read it?
I read the one back here.
But do you understand from that you can park here?
It looks like there's no parking any time from starting from this point back.
So why'd you put money in the meter?
Because that sign refers to this point backwards.
But according to that sign, you can't park here.
I guess you're right. Very confusing.
It is confusing,
yes,
isn't it?
Very confusing.
So what are you going to do? You ready to put your money in?
I already put my money in. Well, what am I going to do? Let's see. Just have to take a chance.
The young motorist could not have been gone more than a minute or so when a police tow appeared out of nowhere and made a beeline for the car.
Oh, look.
at that.
Don't break my car.
Either way, I'm gonna pick it up.
Thank you. Please don't break my car.
Say it louder so they can hear you.
Is your vehicle, sir?
Yes. Registration? Get registration? Yes.
The police eventually agreed to unhook the car, but according to spectators, the presence of our film crew may have contributed to that decision. Some said once the hook is on a car, no entreaty will dissuade police from towing it to the pound.
Your car back, but I have the summons made out for you. Summons? $25.
What about all these cars?
Meanwhile, back at the pound, it was business as usual, meaning about 2,000 cars towed in each week at $65 each, plus a $25 ticket. We talked with some of the motorists who had redeemed their cars.
What happened? The police was walking there. I said, just 1 second, I want to go in and make a call. He says, all right. And by the time I came out, he's gone, and my car is gone. Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, how long did it take you to get it back?
Running up and back about half a day now.
How long? This is the first time it's happened to you?
First time it's happening. I want to tell you something. Right now, I'm thinking of moving out of this city. The hell with this thing.
All of us can't leave town, but if we feel that a fine is unreasonable, neither do we have to pay it without expressing ourselves. The alternatives, either write to the Deputy Commissioner of Traffic in Long Island City, or ask for a hearing and plead confusion. If the adjudicator is not convinced, you can always refer to this report.
You'd think by the number of hospitals around here, New York was the #1 city in medical care.
Yeah, well, if you don't need it, then you're all right. But, you know, the federal government sent in 50 physicians from all over the country
To depressed parts of our city
to help beef up the areas where doctors were desperately needed.
I don't understand that. Can't we train our own doctors?
We did. It was an experiment that was tried at City College.
It worked very well in Boston and in Mississippi. Dr. Jack Geiger tells us a little bit about it.
City College started the Center for Biomedical Education, which is in effect a new kind of medical school, close to 5 years ago now, taking students at the end of high school, training them in 6 years to the level of both a bachelor's degree and an MD degree, with an orientation toward becoming urban family doctors, urban primary care doctors, and a commitment to come back and practice in underserved areas of the city. There is a shortage both of particular kinds of physicians and in the places. Two maldistributions: maldistribution of the place where physicians are available, maldistribution of the kinds of physicians we're training and the kinds of physicians we have. The Upper East Side of Manhattan, for example, may someday sink under the weight of the tertiary care hospitals, the complicated hospital beds, and the private offices of physicians serving the more affluent populations. Meanwhile, populations in places like central Harlem, parts of Brooklyn, the South Bronx, and many other parts of the city, with much greater health risks, with much higher health needs, populations in poverty and populations of the working poor, go begging for medical care and for a supply of doctors.
The other branch I'm not too sure about. Well, you have a splenic artery. It's going to come off, it's going to course towards the left. It's going to go beneath the stomach. And
these students now really are comfortable to work in this community. They see the problems. And what will happen at the end of this semester is they will go to work in the South Bronx in a variety of health settings. And the model we're using is similar to the one at Martin Luther King, which is a ambulatory care health setting. We view the family health worker as the first stage in the education of a primary care physician, because it's the family health worker who coordinates the care for the patient, who acts as an advocate, who visits the family in their home, sees what the social and health problems are, how they interrelate. And so we view the family health worker as the best teacher for the student.
We're going to discuss the visit that we just made to Mrs. W. She, as you know, she's one of our elderly hypertensive patients that we'd like to keep a very close check on.
If by any chance anyone in the family gets sick, they could come into the emergency room to see a doctor.
The baby got more of his injection?
Yes, he's gotten 2 already, and today he was supposed to get his 3rd.
Which were the injections that he got?
Okay, the baby is 6 months old, so he has
already taken 2 of the first baby shots. I don't find anything wrong with the baby, and I think the baby will be okay. Now the bad news, which is that the baby's going to get his 3rd baby shot today.
A major component of our program, in particular the first 2 years that the students are here, and soon to be all 4 years, is to provide structure, support, and supervision for their work in the community. Okay, Martin Luther King has a program for detecting and treating people with high blood pressure, finding them out and getting them in treatment, but that's almost all adults. And what you want to do is add adolescents to that whole project. I think that's a great idea, but what kinds of problems are you going to have doing it?
The major problem is that I'm not sure whether the blood pressure readings taken in the clinic will be valid. They might be nervous, they might be higher than they might normally be.
Well, there are 2 things about that. One is that, as you know, you can't depend on any single reading. The second is that you're going to have to get blood pressures at home, too, if there's anything that you want to really believe.
Okay, we're going to go visit Mrs. V. She missed her appointment, and she had just come out of the hospital with a slight stroke. We shouldn't wait any longer, so I think that we should go out today.
Okay.
Even though the weather is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I was sick, and I was not able to go to the clinic because I get tired when I walk too much.
Okay, well, I came to see how you were doing, and I will check your pressure and see if you have enough medicine until I make you an appointment.
It's one of the unique things about this program over any other program is that it gives you an opportunity to work in the South Bronx or Lower Manhattan or Upper Manhattan. And this is something you really don't find in any of the programs in the country even. It gives you not only the excellent medical personnel, faculty that they have at the school, but gives you first-hand clinical knowledge and personal knowledge as well of the community which we'll be dealing in later on in life.
1/3 of all families in Morrisania are single-parent households with children under 18, twice the value for Highbridge, and over 3 times the value for Queens.
In discussing preschool-age children in Morrisania and Highbridge, a very important component of this community is daycare. Since almost 1 out of every 5 people are under 5 years old, and the population consists of mainly working people, the daycare issue is extremely prevalent.
Statistics show that roughly 30% of all children are inoculated, 3 out of every 10. This is a fact that is accepted by public health officials as being a reasonable number.
Well, this is the first point in the curriculum where the students have to synthesize what they've learned about the South Bronx from a variety of sort of structured field experiences, ranging from family interviews to interviewing people in various social and health agencies, as well as doing a kind of a physical walk through the community. I think that it shows a kind of a growth on the part of a kid coming from, say, Queens or Staten Island, who's really become quite sympathetic to the problems of people living in the South Bronx, and can honestly say, this is a hostile area for kids to grow up in, and I've got to go back there and do something about it.
Even before entering the biomedical program, I wanted to work in neighborhoods, especially mine, I guess, where I grew up.
And where did you grow up, Amy?
I grew up in the Bronx, Castle Hill area in the Bronx.
After I finish the program, I plan to work hopefully more than 2 years required of me after I finish my residency. Whether it's in the South Bronx, I don't know. It all depends on where I am and what's happened since then.
We don't need that many more physicians whose special interest is the second enzyme from the right in the 3rd row of the left adrenal gland. We need physicians who can take care of individuals and families in their communities and in effect restore family, primary, and community medicine to the city of New York.
I think that if biorhythm stops you from doing something, then I think that people are misinterpreting the purpose of biorhythm. Biorhythm is a caution. It is, you can drive a car without any gauges whatsoever, but it's marvelous to know that you're running out of gas, or that your engine isn't working, or that your battery isn't charging. And biorhythm are guides, they're warnings that this is going to be a day that's going to be difficult for me. Now, if I am a pilot and critical judgments are necessary, this is a day, if I have to fly, I'm going to be extra careful.
My name's Wayne Johnson, and I'm a captain with one of the major airlines, 5 major airlines in the United States. I've been in the airline business for 22 years, a captain for 13. In the late 1973s, we had the huge airline accidents, and 8 months later, we had some more accidents. Then I started wondering, you know, I've flown with these men, and I know them to be gentlemen and extremely good aviators. And then I said, what happened where a man with 23 years experience will go out one day for no reason and he doesn't come back?
But it's amazing how many accidents have taken place in the air where the pilot or the pilot and co-pilot were on critical days. Now here is that terrible air crash that was at airport, Kennedy Airport. 112 people were killed. Now 3 planes were coming in within about 30 seconds of each other. The first pilot decided to go in a holding pattern. The second pilot went on to Newark. The third pilot decided to take a chance, and here he did take a chance, and 112 people were killed. He was on an intellectual critical day.
The only thing that we can do is, in the flying industry, is be cautious of the way we handle the aircraft. In other words, if we have a low approach, we don't push our minimums. We go to our alternate. And the main thing is that if we have 2 people coming up with in a bad biorhythm, they're going to fly the same day, they should be forewarned.
If I want to choose a day when I am best for composing or writing or creating a new script, if I was doing a new pilot show for yourself, I think I would probably do better when I'm emotionally and intellectually high than when I'm low.
I was at that time writing The Thrill of Victory, story of sports on television, and the day-by-day production of the page was directly coincidental to the biorhythm. And it became too much of a coincidence to ignore. So with Dr. Gitelson's help, we started charting backwards and forwards as a prognostication measure other sports participants' activities predicated on their birth date. Looking backwards, we found that Mark Spitz did something no one else has ever done and possibly will ever do. Won 7 gold medals in the 1972 Olympics. All 7 were achieved during a double up, if you will.
This is the second check. You didn't put the amount in the stub.
Yes, I know. No, wait. I know what it was. Don't tell me. It was dry cleaning, and it was $16.84. No, wait a minute. It was more than that. It was more than that, because I remember when I went to Bernie, I said, Bernie, could you cash a check for, $35? And so, we put the $35 together with the $16.84. So the check was for that, whatever that was.
35 and 16.84.
Okay, so that's
5 and
36,
6 is
37,
11.
38, 39,
Carry 1.
40, 41, 42,
2.
43, 44.
What are you doing?
45. Don't do that, Jerry, please. You made me lose track now. It was 35, 36,
You're counting
37.
on your fingers?
Yes, I'm counting on my fingers. 35. There's nothing wrong with counting on your fingers, honey. There happens to be a new way of doing math where people actually count on their fingers. It's called Chisenbop. 36, 37, 38.
Sounds like a new disco dance.
You know something? It does have a beat to it. In fact, you better watch these kids from Mount Vernon. They're really good at it.
All right, everyone sitting up tall. Here we go. We're going to do some Chisenbop, all right? Get ready to add. Everyone, press 7. 6 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
8 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
9 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Read your fingers.
36.
Good. Clear your fingers.
This is a class at the William Holmes School in Mount Vernon, one of 16 classes engaged in a pilot project for Chisenbop, a new finger counting method. It's got a lot of educators talking, and a lot of kids are having a good time stumping adults.
It's apparently very simple for kids, but not so for adults.
In Chisenbop, each finger on the right hand is 1. the thumb a cumulative 5. On the left hand, each finger is 10, and the thumb is a cumulative 50. So, with the two hands, you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide up to 99.
After that, you need a pencil and paper.
Here's a sample of some easy Chisenbop. The kids are first graders, and as far as counting is concerned, they're way ahead of their peers who have not been taught Chisenbop.
4 nines, 5 nines, 6 nines, 7 nines, 8 nines, 9 nines, 10 nines.
Read your fingers.
90.
90. Do 9 times 9, Brad. Read your fingers.
81.
Wonderful. 81. Very good.
The Chisenbopping kids from Mount Vernon have created quite a stir. Teachers from all over the country want to see how this latest import from the Far East works and whether it can work in their classes. So a couple of weeks ago, 10 sixth graders took the stage at New Rochelle High School to demonstrate their skills to several hundred teachers. The teachers and the cameras didn't scare them a bit. They let their fingers do the talking.
Boys and girls, you have your directions, double digits. Ready? Yes. Press. 62, 35, 99, 53, and read your fingers.
249.
Good. Clear your fingers. 88, 51, 95, 65. Read your fingers.
299.
Good. Clear your fingers. One more. 97, 85, 96, 88. Read your fingers.
366.
Very good. Clear your fingers. That's very good, really. Okay, we're going to do a 2-by-2 digit multiplication problem. Christine and Sherry, come on up. Just kids, raise your hands high as you can, so that they can see the movements that you're doing, okay? Okay, on the board, write 56 times 84, and go right to it. Once I realized how adept the children were becoming in multiplication and how they knew their facts, I immediately taught them how to add and multiply at the same time, keeping a running total on their fingers. Therefore, they should have a one-line answer there, eliminating the add-ends in the middle, okay? Christine, nice and clear, read your answer, please.
4,704.
Good, sit down.
You can see by the expressions on the faces of some of the teachers that they were truly amazed. One of them tried to get a lesson in Chisenbop right on the spot.
How does it work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then these two are 6.
6, 7, 8, 9.
And then 10.
10.
20, then 30, 15. So on.
You still. All right, so it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
No,
11. 10, 11, 12. Oh, I'm sorry. This would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
And then 60, 70, 80, then these two are 60, and then 3 are 70.
She don't know
No,
but I'm...
Like that. We need 60.
This would be 60, 70. Oh, you have to put them together. 80.
No, you just... No, just put them down like this.
See what it takes? We always hit how quick. Why aren't you learning faster? And look what teachers go through.
The teachers wanted to know more about Chisenbop, and the sample that we took showed there was some caution about using it.
I've seen the movement of the hands and sort of have heard of the values of each finger. So I'm very interested in it and would love to get involved in knowing a little bit more about it.
I'm glad that he said that it shouldn't be a substitute for, quote, the real thing. If he had said that, I would have, or even implied that, I think I would have had less respect for it.
A lot of people are trying to dispel the idea that there's any sort of, magic. It's just a very basic process, but I think that's an advantage of it, that although kids are able to compute so quickly, there is something kind of magical that kids enjoy, and it's something that kids would be very enthused about. I can't see a child, being turned off to something like that at all.
Well, if you've been bitten by the Chisenbop bug, it might be a good idea to start learning it before your kids come home from school with it. This could be the start of something big.
Atta girl.
You know, bills take the fun out of going to the mailbox, especially this one, the monthly reckoning from the New York Telephone Company. You know, one month my bill was a real whopper, $302.47. I was aware that new phone rates recently had gone into effect, but $302.47. The highest my phone bill had ever been was about $250, and that was cost for an austerity program at my house. Anyway, when I recovered from the shock, I phoned the business office of the New York Telephone Company, as it says on the monthly bill I should do if I have any questions. Did I have questions? Hello. I'm calling about my phone bill, which I just received. It's awfully high, higher than it's ever been, and I'd like to know why. Yes, I'm aware that new phone rates are in effect. I've tried to figure out exactly what they are, but I can't for the life of me figure them out. You what? Okay, I'll hold on. The woman at the other end, after pressing the few magical buttons that enabled her to see my bill, told me I had a lot of long-distance calls. With children away at college, I told her, I always have a lot of long-distance calls. None of the woman's answers satisfied my throbbing curiosity, at which point I gave up trying and consulted my file on the telephone company. Some people save stamps. I save phone company ads and news reports. They're masterpieces of double talk. Here, for example, the New York telephone permanent rates totaling $232.2 million now in effect. Millions for whom? Them or us? It doesn't say in the head. To confuse us even more, the ad begins with reductions in phone rates. Then, about 6 inches from the top of the ad, the crux of the matter. The new rates are designed, it says at long last, to produce the $232 million in revenue. But I still couldn't figure out why my bill was so much higher. 5 days after payment was due, I received a final disconnect notice from the phone company. And you know, they don't know the meaning of the word final. Between the bill and the disconnect notice, there had been absolutely nothing to me from the phone company, no preliminary word. Is this to mean that when a mighty monopoly speaks, that's it? Well, dutifully, I sent a check to the phone company that morning. That afternoon, I stopped payment on the check. I just got tired of jumping when the phone company said jump. I got tired of rude tactics and high-handed practices. That's what I said in a letter to the president of the New York Telephone Company after I had stopped payment on the check. After that, I prepared for mighty Ma Bell to strike, if not ring. The call came 2 days later from the manager of the business office, and she was gracious. It's those computers, she apologized. Everything is computerized. Everything is impersonal. When the phone company does not receive my check on the morning that the bill is due, she said that the computer automatically prints out a final disconnect notice to me. But, she said, and here's the concession that was worth the time and effort that went into stopping payment on the check and writing the letter to the president of the New York Telephone Company. She said that she would fix the machines in such a way that hereafter I would not receive a final disconnect notice until I owed 2 bills to the phone company. Big deal, you say? Well, maybe not. But did you ever get anything from the phone company?
Hey, let's put Bernie Gittleson to a test. Let's have him figure out the biorhythm of an ancient astrologer, Nostradamus.
Okay, good.
A person born on December the 14th, 1503, and if I was to do his biorhythm for July the 2nd of 1556, I don't know who this person is, but all I could say is looking at his biorhythm chart, he was within 24 hours of a double critical day physically and emotionally, but he was up intellectually.
You better believe he had a double critical. Nostradamus became definitely terminal that day.
Okay, 1 for Gittleson.
Let's see how this thing works. Now, Gittleson is charting our producer's biorhythm.
I hate to tell you that the National Institute of Mental Health calls the whole biorhythm theory mythology.
So what?
So, there's more. At the University of Minnesota, scientists say you just can't predict body cycles just from a birth date. All kinds of other complex variables have to be considered.
You know something? That kind of talk doesn't faze Gittleson.
This chicken is good.
Delicious.
Where'd you get it?
What do you mean, where did I get it? I got it at the supermarket.
You know, when I was a kid, my mother used to take me down to the market on Delancey Street.
Yeah?
She used to pick out a chicken. I don't know how she knew, but it was always a good chicken.
Didn't she pick out a live chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I could never do that. I just hate to get emotionally involved with what I eat, you know?
Then she'd get this fellow, who shall be nameless, to kill the chicken very quickly. And he'd pluck it. The chicken feathers were extra. And that night, we'd have the greatest chicken dinner in the world.
You know, sir, I wonder whatever happened to those old chicken flickers.
There are still a few around. We found one just like the guy on Delancey Street.
His name is Amerigo Annunziata. Even the name recalls a bygone era and its customs. He works alone in what looks like a garage on a quiet street lined with one-family frame homes in Mount Vernon.
Amerigo Annunziata runs the 9th Avenue Live Poultry Market. It's been in his family for over 40 years. Now he works 4 days a week, carrying on a dying tradition.
There simply aren't too many people anymore doing what Amerigo Annunziata does. If you want a fresh chicken for dinner, a really fresh chicken, you can buy it from Annunziata. Have it weighed, killed, plucked, cleaned, and ready to be cooked in just about 5 minutes.
People and technology are slowly putting places like this one into our history books. Just about everything we want these days is frozen. And with the demand for his product dying out, places like Amerigo Annunziata's live poultry market may soon slip into our folklore.
So we wanted you to see his market and see him. His swollen hands and deep eyes recalling the days when there were lots more chickens and many more people who wanted them freshly killed for their tables.
Used to be a big thing once upon a time. We had this place, crates and crates of chickens.
Crates of chickens?
Crates. The whole place was filled up. Yeah. Them were the good old days.
You missed that?
Of course. That time I had my sisters and brothers in there. We had a few boys clean the chickens all by hand. Today, it's all by a machine. People, probably they're gonna buy them already cleaned, you know? Probably these supermarkets, you know? Well, some of the customers are pretty steady, you know? But my chickens are fresh. I mean, my customers see them killed, right? The supermarkets, do you see them killed? You don't know how long they're there. They come in on the Wednesday. By the time Saturday comes, they're all gone.
This is virtually all that Amerigo Annunziata has ever known. In his own way, he's a contented man. The past has been good to him, but he knows that the time will come when he will have to give it all up.
I pass my time here, you know. My friends come over, we sit down, and we have something to eat. Piece of chicken on a fire, piece of steak, you know. And we sit down, and we have a few beers, you know. And then we talk about the old days. Probably I'll sell it to somebody else. Probably it'll keep going. I tell you, see, I have a son and a daughter in Tampa, Florida, and my son, he's got 2 pizzerias now, and he's working on the third one. He's fixing up the place, the street. And my son, I don't think he wants to do this.
The neighborhood chicken market, killed by a generation brought up on frozen foods.
Well, there you have it. A lot of great stories out there happening to all of us in New York.
Now, wait a minute, honey. You forgot New Jersey and Connecticut, because that's what this show is all about. You.
You are this program.
That's right.
And we're proud to host this premiere.
Because we are a part of you, and we're going to look forward to watching you every week.
Who knows, this may become a modern version of one of those rooftop film classics that made you famous.
Don't get emotionally involved, please, sweetheart. We have some terrific programs coming up.
Next week, we're going to see pictures of a 5-month-old fetus. These pictures are called sonograms.
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 But it's fantastic. You can actually see moving pictures of your baby before it's born.
Then we're going to go to PS1 in Long Island City to see an exhibit. That's one of my old neighborhoods.
That's right. I didn't know that.
We moved a lot.
These women artists got together and they created their own version of the Sistine Chapel.
And it's all going to be on at 7 next week.
Interesting stories about people, places, and things for you.
On you.